Are we live? I think we're live.
We live.
We're live. Okay, before we talk about let us tell everybody what we're talking about today.
Mhm.
Wait, actually, let me just show you. Show you instead of telling you, okay? And we're gonna be covering this Biden faces criticism over U.S. airstrike in Syria,
Mhm.
and then we're gonna analyze some right-wing coverage on this, and then some left-leaning coverage on this.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right? We're gonna see what. Can I even say this guy's name? I think you can.
I mean, he's verified on YouTube. I don't know how
What the
I don't
hell?
know how he's allowed on YouTube. Honestly,
How is it that we get strikes, and Paul Joseph Watson is verified and monetized? Like
with
what?
almost 2 million subscribers.
With almost like, where's the cancel culture everyone keeps telling us about?
This guy works with Alex Jones. Like,
yeah, and look at this. He has like, oh my god, unbelievable. Yeah, cancel. Okay. Anyways, so we're gonna cover. We're gonna see.
who's this blue-eyed cutie? Oh,
Oh
Fatima,
no,
you
nope,
might
nope,
take
nope,
that
nope.
back if you learn a little bit about his background.
Yeah, I don't know. No shaming though. If you like what you see, you like what you see. Anyways, we're gonna also cover secular talk or
Our favorite Iranian analyst, none other
no,
than Kyle Klewinski.
no. All right, but
on Iran.
before we do that,
Shias don't do terrorists.
oh my god, yeah. Oh my, I am already triggered. All right, before we go cover all of this, I have to mention that I was watching one of our streams with me and Susanna before, right? And I noticed that you have a lot of takes that I don't notice during the stream because I'm paying attention to the live chat or I'm thinking about what to say, how to like organize my thoughts.
Oh, really? Are they any good?
They're really good.
Oh, okay.
They're really like there's so many good takes you have that I keep missing because I'm doing so many things at the same time, right? Like there was like I was listening to the stream with about Muhammad, right? And there were so many funny and interesting takes that it just like flew over my head because I was trying to make sure I don't miss anything important in the live chat, or because I had to think about what to say next. So yeah, so it was
Thank you.
I was like laughing. I was like, listen, so many good jokes too. God damn it! Like, okay, we need like a third person that just like
appreciates my greatness.
no, that helps me like manage that's actually we need. See that I almost missed that as well. Oh my god. All right. Okay, cool. Let's go and cover all
Wait,
of this.
so do people know what happened?
People like this news?
Yeah. Our audience may not know.
Oh my god. If our ideas, guys, you guys don't know. Armin doesn't actively listen to Susanna. Shame. Hey, Ghost Bunny, I will ban you.
Oh.
Hey, guys, it's not fair, okay? I'm doing so many. It's your fault, actually. It's the live chat's fault because you guys tag. Anyways, I have to. What do you want? Do you want? If I have to pay more attention to what Susie's saying, then I have to ignore you guys. You want me to ignore you guys? Because I can definitely ignore you guys if that's what you want. All right, I can ignore you. Oh my. Okay, that was annoying. Stop. Don't do that again. Armin only listens to men. I mean,
true.
I mean, can you blame me? The fact that Susie has good takes is like,
oh no,
it's weird. Like it's not that common for women to have such good takes. Okay, so don't blame us, Armin. I blame you. I will blame you. Stop me.
People aren't gonna think that you're joking.
Well, like let them get triggered. Um. Oh my god. All right. We need to cover this actually, guys. If you don't like, do we really have to tell people what happened? Like, people are that. I'm gonna start attacking our own members and our own community. Shame them for not knowing. I'm gonna shame our own paid members for not knowing what's happening in the
Yeah,
news.
so this is his first airstrike as a president, for those who don't know.
Yay!
Off the champagne! Yes,
I
that's
can't-
one of the reasons why
I'm
this
not
is
even. I'm
significant.
not even joking. Yeah. Oh.
And there's lots of other reasons why this is significant, but that's probably one of the biggest reasons. And people are
Okay, wait. I have to call out this whole simping. This is like such white knighting. If my comments cause you to ignore Susanna, I won't comment anymore. Oh, okay, Reza. Okay, I'm sure Susanna appreciates that. God damn it. Okay. Stop it. Stop the simping. Okay, there's some funny.
Hey, you get
there's
triggered when I
no.
pertain
There's
to your
some.
simps.
There are some.
Don't discourage simping in this house.
No. There's some funny simping, and then there's some actual simping that is kind of cringe. This is the cringe type of simping. There's
How dare
good.
you?
No,
How dare
okay.
you?
If there are simps that are saying like, "Oh my God, Susanna is hot. Oh my God, Susanna is like this or that. She's so smart." Okay, those are good. Okay, but this is the cringe type of simping. Okay, this is cringe simping.
Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him, Razvan. I appreciate you, King.
Okay, Armin can multitask. Yes, and I recognize that. Most of the people who do multitask also can't multitask. They're just being unproductive, and they are congratulating themselves for
Secular rarity. Oh, Armin. I wonder why more people don't watch the live stream. Rolling her eyes.
Okay, fine. Residents crying. Oh my god, we're so mean to our community.
No, it's just you. See, Aditya has cracked the code. Armin equals AR plus mean. Armin, it's in your name. It's in your nature.
Very funny. Anyways, let's get to the news.
Okay. Yes.
All right. So you wanna read this?
I will repeat myself so it's easier for our editor. Okay, so one of the reasons why this is significant is because this is one of Biden's first, if not the first, military action of this administration. And it was in Syria, a very contentious situation. Obviously, it's an ongoing crisis for many years now. And there are a lot of people who feel a lot of different ways about this. And basically, Armin and I want to talk about how everyone has shitty analysis of this.
Yes, everybody is wrong.
Everyone has crap analysis.
This is why you come to Atheist Republic, okay? Because we're the only people that have the good takes on this, okay? Guys, the analysis that we have, like me and Susanna were saying this, okay? Before the stream. The analysis that we have here on these topics, people get paid a lot of money and their analysis is not even good. Like to have these takes, they go and like find information and they come up with advice for big corporations and government, and they have no idea what they're talking about. Okay, we have better takes on most of the people that show up on both traditional media and new media. All right, and they're so-called experts, and we're just giving it to you guys all for free. Well, except the members who are paying us. So thank you for that. But
they were doing that anyways.
They were doing that anyways, yeah. But like seriously, like you're welcome. Okay? You're welcome. All right. Anyways, let's continue.
Oh, okay. So we wanted to read through this first, right?
Yeah. Well, you want to read the bullet points first?
Yes. Okay. So on Friday, that would be let me double check. That would have been Friday the 26th of February. The U.S. conducted an airstrike against an Iranian-backed militia in Syria after it shot rockets into northern Iraq and injured U.S. service personnel. The airstrike marks the first in Biden's presidency, and while normally a routine response, it caused particular backlash against the president who campaigned on getting out of quote-unquote forever wars in the region. Many felt like Biden was more concerned with bombing people in the Middle East than he was with passing his $1.9 trillion stimulus package, which was being debated by Congress at the time. The targeting of an Iranian-backed militia likely didn't help efforts to start informal talks with Iran on Sunday in an effort to reignite the Iran nuclear deal. I think, really quickly with that last bullet point, wait, go back up.
Okay.
That last bullet point of, the targeting of Iranian-backed militia didn't help efforts to start informal talks with Iran on Sunday in an effort to reignite the Iranian nuclear deal. I really don't like that framing of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's on us to just take that on its face?
Targeting of
What?
Iranian.
This is a deal. There's at least two parties involved. Like,
yeah, what I think didn't help with the deal was this original attack by Iran, though.
Yeah.
Look at this. So, how you're saying the targeting of Iranian-backed militia likely didn't help efforts to start informal talks with Iran. You know what else didn't help?
Iran.
Hold on, yeah. Where is it? Oh yeah, this one. Iranian-backed militia in Syria after it shot rockets into northern Iraq. Yeah, so this was in response to Iran. This was in response to Iran attacking United States personnel and also injuring an American citizen in northern Iraq. So why are you saying? I mean, the Iranian-backed militia started it. And to be more accurate, they continued. Like, this is not updated because there has been more recent attacks by Iranian-backed militia.
As in last night. As in
last night. Yeah, on American citizens, and not just American like soldiers, just like civilians, contractors.
Well, civilian contractors.
Right. So how come they're framing it as like the targeting of Iranian-backed militia didn't help? Well, what about the targeting by the Iranian-backed militia? Did that also not help?
Yeah. That's why I have such a problem with that framing of it.
Yeah. This is bias. Okay, let's continue.
Okay. Striking back against militias. The U.S. military conducted an airstrike on an Iranian-backed militia in Syria. Okay, so this is what we said earlier. On Friday, marking it as the first such airstrike under President Joe Biden's term. The airstrike was conducted as retaliation after the militia launched rockets into northern Iraq, killing civilians, contractors, and injuring a U.S. service member, as well as other coalition troops.
Wait, I think didn't somebody die? I think there was one person that died, like a Filipino that died, but I'm not sure.
Well, I know on the strike that happened last night, someone died of a heart attack, right?
Yeah, but before that, there was one person that also died in this attack. But okay,
someone did die in this attack. I can't remember who they were affiliated with, though.
Yeah, but the American was injured, but the person that died, I think, if it was this attack, was Filipino. But let's continue. Okay.
Yeah. Despite the airstrikes being a routine response for such situations over the last 20 years, the decision caused Biden to face intense backlash in the U.S. For many, it set the tone and seemed to contradict some of his earlier stances when running for office. In 2009, for instance, Biden made it clear that he wanted to get out of Iraq as soon as possible, as well as speed up the removal of U.S. troops in Afghanistan.
Yeah, but this is not a contradiction to that.
It's not.
Like, okay, we're going to try to get out of Iraq and Afghanistan as soon as we can. Okay. Are we going to not respond to somebody attacking an American civilians while we're freaking there? Like you guys know that taking the troops out of their process is not like, whoop, we're gone. Like, you guys know that that's not how it works, right? But if somebody attacks you while you're there, I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, you're just like, oh yeah, we're
It's
not
pretty
gonna.
insane how it really seems like some people just expect us to just let Iran run amok in the region. Like,
Yeah, like, okay,
we're not gonna do anything about this like Shia imperialist project. We're just gonna step back and let that just be
okay.
okay.
So the
Sure.
response to that would be, the reason why Iran is able to build an empire there right now is because United States went in initially and took out Saddam and basically opened the door for Iran to come and easily take Iraq and make Iraqi government. It's one of its proxies, and and there's exaggerations of how much control they have, but there's also some underestimation of how much control Iran has in Iraq from both sides. But so that would be the response to what you just said. But yes, that's a fair point. However,
What are we gonna do about it now?
what are you going to do about it now? Like, you guys, you know what? There are some very good arguments for why Biden should leave Iraq, but a lot of the people that are on the side of why Biden should pull troops out of Iraq don't mention the points for why it's also a bad idea. Like, there are some good. The other side also has a lot of good points. Like, even if you're on the side of like, hey, let's pull all the troops out, okay, that's a fair position to have. But at least be honest with people and tell them, when you do pull the troops out, you are very likely giving the keys to Iraq to the Islamic Republic of Iran. Like, you could at least mention that cost. Like, you keep this understanding that this is like you basically gifting Iraq you're gift wrapping it and giving it to Iran while if you leave. Okay, you could say like, okay, you know what? I think it's inaccurate to say that's not our problem. Who cares anyways? Let them do whatever they want. It's not our problem, which is a dumb take to have. But at least if you have that take, be honest with your audience and tell them that this is going to be like, if you pull out of there, it's going to be Shia dominance. You're basically making Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran, become the dominant force in the Middle East. And that is probably going to lead to something that eventually will force United States to have to come back to defend its allies, and probably have to deal with a bigger monster that is going to be a lot more costly to deal with at that point, or maybe even impossible to deal with, right? Again, there are some very good points for why United States has to leave ASAP, but there's also some very good points on why they should stay. Maybe in a different format, like maybe some with better policies while they're there, okay? But whatever side you are on this, what I've noticed is that people who are on one side or the other, they don't offer their arguments from the other side. They don't tell you that if you leave, Iran will take over. The Islamic Republic of Iran. Yeah. Anyways, let's continue.
Where was it? Okay, so however, such airstrikes are often blamed for further entrenching the U.S. in the region. Biden received criticism across the political spectrum, with only a few conservatives praising the airstrike as a necessary move to protect U.S. troops. In Congress, many Democrats called the move unconstitutional, a stance the party has had since at least 2018, when Nancy Pelosi, said a similar airstrike conducted by President Trump required the approval of Congress. The Biden administration pushed back against this, sending a letter to Congress on Sunday saying the president had the power to use limited force without the body's approval via the War Power Act.
And this is legally accurate. And like, imagine people are saying you can't, Biden didn't, this was illegal because you need to go through Congress. No, you need to go through Congress if you're starting a war. if somebody attacks Americans, and imagine if you can respond. The president at that point has the power, has the authority to respond. Imagine the signal you're sending to the whole world if it was the case that every time you attacked an American, the entire United States Army has to wait for the extremely slow process of the Congress for them to be able to respond. Basically, you're making every American outside of your United States borders a sitting duck. Like, imagine if the president had to wait for Congress to respond to Americans being killed outside of its borders. This whole Congress approval is if they wanted to start a war with another country, not if they are responding to somebody attacking you. Anyways.
Armin says defeatedly. Public perception in a downward spiral. Many Americans have mocked Biden for seemingly feeling comfortable enough to use his executive power to bomb militias, while also expressing apprehension towards using the same power to forgive student loans. Oh my god. Okay, so let's just have the working class pay for everyone's higher education.
No, let's not open. Don't open that kind of worm.
I just think that some of the. I hate
it's not comparable.
It's not.
It's feeling comfortable enough to use his executive power to bomb militias. I mean, towards using that same power to forgive student loans. I mean, this is a main role of a president, is to respond. This is something that the entire country has to debate and discuss. I mean, you could be on the side on whether or not he should be used his executive powers or not. Okay, I think it was fine for him to use his executive powers to undo everything that Trump did, because it's like when he did that, it wasn't an overusage of executive power. It was basically undoing the overusage of executive power. Right? This is something that I think more people need to be involved in discussing, whether this is whatever your decision, whatever side you're on. I think using taxpayer money to do something like this needs to have a lot of people involved in discussing whether this is a good idea or not, right? But when it comes to the president defending American citizens, that's their we need quick action on that. If somebody attacks Americans, you need to respond right away. That's what a president. That's one of the main responsibilities of a president. Anyways,
okay. Well, let's continue. Others pushed back against the idea that the airstrike was a form of defensive retaliation. So, from Caitlin Johnstone, this latest Biden airstrike is being spun as defensive and retaliatory, despite its targeting a nation the U.S. invaded, Syria, in response to alleged attacks on U.S. forces in another nation the U.S. invaded, Iraq. You can't invade a nation and then claim self-defense there, ever.
What are you talking about? Wait. Targeting a nation the U.S. invaded? Okay, that nation that you're talking about, it's a war zone right now, okay? There's many different actors there. Syrian agents, it wasn't Syrian military. Okay, it wasn't Syrian agents that were attacked. It was Iranian agents. Just because they happened to be in Syria, people are like, oh, the attack was in Iraq, but you attacked people in Syria. Well, because the people in Syria that were attacked were Iranian agents, and the people who did the attack in Iraq were also Iranian agents. How do you not see the connection?
Some of the worst analysis I've seen of this is just people saying that Biden bombed Syria. He didn't bomb Syria. He's targeting Iranian-backed militias. There's a difference.
By the way, do you guys know that okay, so again, there are good arguments for United States leaving Syria, and there's some bad arguments, and there's also good arguments for United States staying in Syria. That's another debate. That's another discussion. Okay. But you do understand that if United States not being in Syria doesn't make Syria all of a sudden not a war zone. That is not like it's not gonna. Assad autonomy is not guaranteed. It's not going to be like, oh yeah, Assad, but like Turkey is in, like there's so many different agents right now in Syria fighting with each other, and this is a war zone. There is no autonomy of like a stable government right now that is going on there. That if United States leaves, it, all that will be guaranteed. In fact, it will probably be more chaotic right now in Syria if United States leaves, right? So this idea of this is an invasion. I mean, Syria was invaded by ISIS before. Like, I don't understand. Like this again. I'm not saying that United States being the way what the United States have done has made so many bad decisions in Syria, okay, and has funded a lot of shady groups, groups that are responsible for 9/11. United States funded them. Amazing, right? So there are a lot of criticism against United States and what they did in Syria. Okay, here's the binary way people think about these things. They think like, oh, bad intervention. United States did bad intervention here, bad intervention there. So let's just do no intervention. Like, how about good intervention? Like, I know, like, it's hard to think about there's such being such a thing as good intervention, given the bad record of United States interventions. But it's possible for you to be a source for good like a stabilizing force in a region. Okay, and again, that is in the best. If United States manages to do that, it is in the best interest of American citizens. Like this idea of United States not being involved anywhere that would be better for Americans. It's such a simplistic way of looking at the world, right? There are like the United States is a superpower and it has interests all around the world, and it has bases, and it has like companies and organizations and citizens all around the world, and I think this whole binary of either bad intervention or no intervention is just such a simplistic way of looking at it. There is a way to push United States for being a force for not only something that is in the best interest for Americans around the world, but also for United States to be a stabilizing agent and also for an agent that is responsible for promoting fighting against human rights abuses. Okay. As a country, again, I'm not saying it is right. It is even close to that right now, but that's what you should be pushing for instead of no intervention, because that's a dream that's never going to happen. United States is a superpower. How could it not have the idea of like it not intervening around the world is a joke. Even countries that are not like even the most pathetic, weakest countries around the world, they intervene outside of their borders because they know it's in their interests, right? Like if you have trades all around the world, and you want to make sure that those different seas, different ports, different canals, they're all your trade agents, they have safe passage, that it's in the best interest of the whole world, for example, for superpowers to make sure that there's some level of security around the planet. It's in the interest of not just American citizens, but every citizen and around any country. So maybe like if more people push for smart intervention rather than no intervention, I think it would be easier to get results, because no intervention is like an unattainable dream. But anyways.
And you're also leaving a lot of like innocent civilians to be killed and abused.
Yeah, it just flies in the face of never again, never forget. Yeah. Like let's do no intervention. Yeah, future generations are going to look at you and going to be like, wait, what happened to never forget? What happened to never again? Again, and here's another thing. One form of intervention that I'm very in favor of is having world organizations that you work with, like in cooperation with other countries, other civilized countries, like not going it on your own, like working with European countries, for example, working with the United Nations when you go and intervene, right? And this intervention, this what I heard, and I could be wrong, is that this was done with the knowledge and cooperation of other countries. Like this was not like, hey, we did it. We didn't let anyone know. Like, okay, but I might be wrong about that. But that's the report that I got. But anyways, let's
Okay,
continue.
so scroll past this tweet. Okay,
Mhm.
some of the biggest criticism of the president received came from those who said it seemed like his priorities were off base. Because while the airstrike was conducted, Congress was debating his 1.3 trillion stimulus package. Civil rights activist Jamal Green, for instance, tweeted, "We didn't flip Georgia blue for Biden to airstrike Syria." Oh my God. We flipped Georgia blue for our $2,000 stimulus checks.
What do these people want? Like, wouldn't like if for example Iranian backed if Iranian backed militia like kill an American overseas and Biden just does no response, like would these as American citizens, wouldn't you be angry with your president? Like
I don't think
if
they
you just
pay
let it go,
attention
if
to
you
that.
just
I don't think they pay attention to stuff like that.
No, but shouldn't you get angry? Like if your president is completely like if your citizens are being killed or attacked, and your citizen and your president make it seem like it didn't even happen, like you wouldn't even expect this from not a non superpower, right? Like
Mhm.
if your country was just an average or even a weak country, right? And like forget even being attacked. Like we criticize Australia for not attacking like not going after a country when Zara K was like um being abused in Tanzania. Like we're like, God damn it, Australia, your citizen is stuck in another country and you're not doing
Yeah.
much to help her, right? So and like even a country, I don't know, like a small Eastern European country, if there's or like here, like for example, Ukrainian um, citizens were killed by Iran because of Iran's government shot a missile at a plane and killed Ukrainian citizens. Okay, that happened, and Ukraine is like really pushing hard against Iran right now because of that, right? So any country, even the smallest, like, and Ukraine is like a weak country, right? But even the weakest countries, if your government doesn't respond to your citizens being attacked, the citizens of the country were like, "What? Why do we even have a government for? You guys are supposed to protect us." So now you have a superpower, and you have militias throwing missiles at your citizens, and you guys like, what do you expect? You want like zero responses? And I know what some people say. Like people will say, like, "Well, we shouldn't even be there." Okay, even if that's your position, Biden is like he's trying, like he says he's trying to get you out. I don't know if he's going to keep that promise or not. It's not like he could do that in the first goddamn month, right?
Right?
But while maybe like you could criticize him, 6 months down the road if he doesn't get you out like as much as you want it, right? But while you are there, if you get attacked, there needs to be a goddamn response. Anyways, let's continue.
um However, it's worth noting that there's not much Biden can do right now to push his stimulus package through Congress other than attempts to convince some on the fence senators like Joe Manchin. I think that's how you say his name. Yeah. Still, the perception of the confused priorities was enough to anger many. And that's the thing, guys, like we're waiting for Congress to do this. Okay. Anyways, all of this likely didn't help when the EU foreign policy chief, on behalf of all the countries who signed the Iran nuclear deal, attempted to convince Iran to engage in informal talks to try and restart the deal on Sunday. A proposal was shot down by Iran. Considering the recent actions and statements by the United States and 3 European powers, Iran does not consider this the time to hold an informal meeting with these countries, said Foreign Ministry spokesperson Syed. How would you say that?
Saeed Khatibzadeh.
Thank you.
Khatibzadeh. Okay. All right. So we're gonna now look at some juicy takes.
So now you know what's happening.
You know what's happening. Okay. I might get really angry now because we're gonna look at some really crappy takes. Okay.
Nonsense.
So before I do that, I need to go get it for a pee break. Can you uh, pay attention? Like maybe like see what the live chat is saying and maybe engage with them.
It's just chaos.
Just
I don't want to get scary there. It's chaos. Just go pee.
Just
Go.
talk to them.
I don't want to. Well, I know this is a safe zone. AGA is reminding you guys that if you want our attention, make sure to tag Atheist Republic. Also, go follow us on Twitch, because you can see here that, like, where it says Armin Uwu, that should be an emote. On Twitch, you can actually use our emotes, and it shows up on StreamYard. Pirate Kitty Cat is saying, now I remember why I started watching streams without watching the live comment section. Pyro, help me, I'm scared. And of course, it is time that women take over. What else is going on in the live chat today? I see a lot of anti-imperialists. I see a lot of anti-interventionists. The live chat is going bonkers. It's a spicy topic. I get it.
Why? What did they say? Why are
it's
they
just
going
a lot of arguing about how we even got into this mess.
Oh my god!
And also some communists. So.
Oh, hi, commies. These are two different discussions that you guys are mixing with each other. Okay, there's maybe more people have to understand what the idea behind the sunk cost. Okay, the idea of whether United States should have gone to Iraq or not in the first place is a different discussion from
what we do now.
What you do now. Okay, those are two separate. Yeah.
I get really frustrated when I talk to people who are very lefty about the issues with Iran, especially with like Islamic fascism. And they bring up stuff about the toppling of the Shah and all that stuff, or the backing of the Shah and what led to the revolution. And I'm like, okay, can we talk about that separately? Because what do we do now? Also, a lot of the really terrible things Iran would like not be as much of the case if the fundamentals of Islam itself was not crappy. Okay? But Portia Q is saying, I really appreciate the fact that you criticize Biden for his wrong policies, Armin. I legit thought you were a far leftist back in November.
Amazing, because Portia, I don't know. I don't know if you know how many people think I'm far right.
Oh, especially after the riots this summer.
Susie, do we have more people think I'm far right than far left, right? You know what? I know I must be doing something right if I have so many people thinking I'm far right and so many people thinking I'm far left and so many people think I'm a Zionist and so many people thinking I'm anti-Semitic and so many people thinking like I'm an Islamophobe while other people think I'm a hidden Muslim doing taqiyya. This is like this must.
He contains multitudes. The duality of man.
It's amazing.
I mean, you are a Zionist, though.
Yeah, actually, you're right. I am a Zionist. And a globalist. Okay,
yeah.
People like some people like Armin as a globalist. Like, oh wow, an accusation that is actually true. Yay! Right.
And we're proud of that.
We're proud of it. Razam said, you attack me for not knowing refugee, muhajir in Persian is an Arab word. You assume I went to school in Iran. Well, you were wrong. I grew up in the West. My parents are Afghan.
Middle finger emoji.
Okay, well.
Are you gonna apologize for that?
No.
No, I knew that was coming.
I was wrong. Get over it.
Okay, wait. Let's watch these videos.
Okay.
Selva Kumar saying Susie is an ISI and Shia agent. True.
Oh yeah, I'd be like, yeah, you're ISI, I'm Mossad. Okay, guys, I'm not Mossad, but I want to. But I want to be.
Mossad, call him.
But I want to be Mossad. Call me. Anyways,
It's not a joke. It's genuinely
again,
not a. It's
you
not
guys
a joke.
think this is a joke?
It's not a joke.
If you are like if you have any connections with Mossad, I will work for them for free. Okay, just let them know this is not a joke. I know how many times I say this and people laugh and think this is a joke. This is not a joke. Mossad, call me. All right.
We need the close up for please. Please.
Yeah.
I always think of that banner hanging above the Tehran highway where it was after the nuclear scientist got assassinated. There just was the Israeli flag and it said, "Thank you, Mossad." Yes. And I was like, how did Armin get back in Tehran?
All right. Let's switch this.
Who let him back?
Okay. Let's switch this. Wait, is this music copyrighted?
I don't know. Just skip like 2 seconds. There we go.
Little over a month into his presidency and Biden is bombing the Middle East. Well, imagine my shock. Never saw that coming.
So different having military action under Biden. No middle school level threats on Twitter. Trust Biden and his team's competence.
At least while Biden is bombing around people, he's not being offensive on Twitter. Trump airstrike. Biden airstrike. I mean, is it really necessary to obtain...
All right, this is a really crap take, but it's funny.
Funny. He has a funny delivery, but it's not even like analysis. Okay.
Yeah, it's just
saying like because there's the meme that's like Republicans like dropping bombs. It's just dropping bombs, and then Democrats dropping bombs, and exactly what he just showed, like all liberfied, like rainbow flag. I'm with her. Blah blah blah. To say like, oh, like Democrats commit war crimes. They just put like a liberal coat of paint on it to make it seem progressive.
Yeah,
but that's not the case here. Right. It's not even real analysis. That's not what happened here.
Yeah, this was I don't know, like, what do they expect? Okay, do they expect like, oh yeah, we're not criticizing Biden because he's like pro LGBT BLM stuff? No, we're not. We're okay with him doing this because Americans were attacked. That's the goddamn reason. Again, we will criticize him. I'm pretty sure Biden at some point is going to bomb something somewhere that is going to be uncalled for. Okay, it's guaranteed. Okay, and we will be there, and we're going to be like, "Fuck you, Biden!" Like you're like, this was uncalled for. It will happen. I'm pretty sure it will happen. But this ain't it. This ain't it. Americans were attacked. You need to respond.
And that pesky congressional approval when you're respecting proper pronouns. But don't worry, it was a defensive missile attack.
But it was a response to an attack on Americans. What? Okay, these are like conservative.
If this happened under Trump, like, would he feel the same way? Would he? It was defensive.
Okay, so here's the thing: they did criticize Trump when he bombed Assad's airport in response to him reports of him gassing people. Okay, and they say it was a conspiracy. Like, I'm not gonna get into that, but the difference. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, so they say we're consistent on that. Okay, but there's two things. Okay, I want to mention. First of all, this is gonna sound not very nice. Okay, but from a legal perspective, Biden is now responding to Americans being attacked. Trump, when he bombed Assad's airport, he was responding to Assad attacking Syrian citizens, right? So as a humanist, you should think like, so there's a legal aspect to it and there's a humanist aspect to it, right? So from a humanist perspective, you're going to be like, why does it matter if it's Americans versus Syrians? You should care about people are people, right? And yeah, that makes sense. But as a government, your job is to protect your citizens, right? So it might seem cold, but Biden has more of a legal right for his strike than Trump did, okay? Because Biden was responding to Americans being attacked, okay? And this was not bombing. This was not a bombing of Syrian. They keep acting like Biden bombed Syria. These are Iran. By the way, are they going to mention? No, I'm going to leave this. I'm going to leave this for Kyle.
We got plenty to say about Mr. Klewinski.
Yes. Here's one thing I don't get. Like, these are conservatives who are like, oh my God, the leftists, the Democrats, they're so like weak and pathetic, and we're like the conservatives, they're so macho and strong and aggressive and like alpha, and they are beta. Is it like not beta for your, like, wouldn't they be? Isn't it like your civilian, like Americans are being attacked and not responding to it? Like, wouldn't it be like more in line with conservatives? Like, if Biden didn't attack, they're like, oh, it's just like Iranians are just like rolling over. But okay, yeah, this would be more in line with their branding, with the traditional conservative branding. If Biden, let's say like the Iranians attack Americans and then Biden didn't do anything, they would be like, oh my God, look at how weak this is. A country like Iran is just like rolling over us, attacking Americans. And then he, like, if I was doing a Paul Joseph Watson video, I would be like, and Biden is like, and then I would play like a cricket sound or something like that. Like, this would be like, look how pathetic and weak they are. This would be more in line with a conservative video than this. Like, what? Like, yes, be anti-war. It's great to be anti-war, but really, you're on the side of Americans being attacked, and you want your president to just like, like nothing?
Well, he's not even American, so.
Oh yeah, you're right. But and another thing. This is Iran aggression. You're like, oh, why are we doing outside of our borders? Well, this is Iran also being outside of their borders, right? And if Iran was attacking Rudy Giuliani, okay, while he was in Europe in a failed attack, okay?
Oh, wow.
And last time I checked, United States was not in Europe as an invader, okay? He was there like as a guest or something, right? I mean, he's dumb. He was like in an MEK meeting, right? But like, technically, that was an act of war on your politicians that could go, like, if they wanted to, they could be like, this justifies not at us attacking Iranian interests outside of Iran's borders. This would justify attacking Iran within its borders, right? So this is such a mellow response to all the aggressions for so many years. You have American citizens taken hostage, dual citizens in Iran, taken hostage by Iranian government. Like, you could argue like, hey, we need to actually send special ops to free American citizens. And they're like, okay, we're just gonna, like, the response is like, you know what? We're not going to go escalate. We're not going to attack Iran directly. We're just going to find Iranian interests outside of its borders and do surgical attacks there. That is going to only, like, so far has been no reports of civilian deaths. It seems like only Iranian militias are being killed. Like, these are so measured, so small in response. Like, this is a really good response. Here's what I say. Both Biden's response and Trump's response so far to, as much as I hate Trump and as much as I, will criticize Biden once he starts making mistakes. And again, Trump did most of what Trump has done, I'm against, okay? But so far, when it comes to Iran's aggression, both Trump and Biden have taken very measured responses. They have taken responses that hasn't been escalating in nature, but have been devastating enough for it to be a major response to Iran. They have all been outside of Iran's borders. It's been, when it comes to responding to Iran,
pretty surgical.
Both Trump and Biden have so far been on point. Okay, but anyways, let's continue. Again, this is rare for me to say something good about Trump, okay? So take it.
Military-industrial complex is notorious for its careful restraint, and now that they're allied with the most militaristic cabinet in recent history, I'm sorry, I mean the resistance, I'm sure they'll just leave it at that. legal authority for strikes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, do you see what the problem with this tweet is? It's 2017,
Yeah.
right? So, and yeah.
Assad is a brutal dictator, but Syria is a sovereign country. Good.
This is the White House spokesperson. So they're like,
She's
this
the current
tweet from
press secretary.
2017. Yeah, press secretary.
And she's kind of a mess.
Is she?
I
Okay, don't know.
have not been impressed.
Okay, I don't know. I have no opinion so far. So they're like using this tweet to say like, because this tweet was against Trump, and then
Mhm.
like, what is the legal authority for strike? Assad is a brutal dictator, but Syria is a sovereign country. Yeah, this tweet doesn't. So the legal, what is the legal authority? Again, there is no legal authority. Maybe there was no legal authority for that attack, but this attack, it was a response. Okay, here's the thing: Assad is a brutal dictator, but Syria is a sovereign country. If this was in response to Trump's attack was on Syria's government. It was on Assad. This attack was in a war-torn country on Iranian agents. So as much as it's true that this tweet didn't age well, this attack that Biden has done is different from what Trump did.
It's not a good comparison.
It's not a good comparison because the attack that Biden did was on Iranian militia.
Sovereign country. Good question. Someone should ask the White House press secretary.
I'll have to just circle back with you.
You really think
It's okay. As much as I don't like his take,
It's so easy to make fun of her.
It's so easy to make fun of her, and the edits are hilarious. Okay, like it's so easy to be on Paul's side if you have no idea what you're talking about. It's just so they make it so funny and so interesting. Look at this, almost 500,000 views. God damn it!
that an administration that cared so much about diversity would really put black and brown people at risk? Yes, Biden.
Oh my God, this is such a bad take by conservatives. They're like, they pretend to be for black and brown people, but now they're bombing them. Excuse me, they were Iranian militia. Okay, they were Iranian militia. God damn it! Like they're like, oh, Black Lives Matter, unless they're like Syrian. Oh my God, these are not the same.
No, it's not the same.
You're like they're bombing Syrian children. No, they're not. They're bombing Iranian militia. They're not bombing Syrian children.
May have picked a roster of foreign policy architects that make George W. Bush look like a weed-addled pacifist. But in case you forgot, we now have a VP of color. Do we really need to know why Biden is bombing the Middle East when we can just watch Kamala Harris dance instead? They're bombing us again, Dad. Don't worry, my daughter.
Look at this, how unfair this is. Don't we have videos of Trump dancing? Like, what is this? Like, oh my God, like people are celebrating Kamala dancing. What is that? Well, yeah, people also, they just like, oh my God, yeah, look, they're distracting us with this. This is what they like, even though they're bombing, blah, 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 blah.
No, that's not the point. Is the dancing. The point is the use of identity politics. That's what he's getting at.
Oh, okay. I missed it.
Kamala Harris dance instead. They're bombing us again, Dad.
Look at this. Bombing us again, Dad. They're bombing us again, Dad. Like, yeah, no, they're not bombing you. They're bombing Iranian militia.
Us again, Dad. Don't worry, my daughter. This time it's different. We are now being bombed by Kamala Harris, the first female vice president of the USA. We should be proud. This is part of history tonight on CNN.
Okay, that is funny though. Like, this is it's so dangerous because these are bad takes. And they're being delivered in such funny ways that people believe them. You know what I mean?
This is how we make good propaganda, kids.
This is how you make good propaganda. And yeah, and also, who's the artist? Why are you not crediting the artist? Like, did you mention the artist did you see the artist being credited here?
No.
The hell?
Okay.
And this is a conservative artist. I don't know. It seems like they're anti. Yeah, it seems like it's a conservative artist.
Dance instead.
So he's.
This could be a leftist who doesn't like Democrats. This is just someone who's anti-imperialist.
Or was. They're also anti-identity politics. Kind of seems like it, right? Because look at this.
Dad. Don't worry, my daughter.
Don't worry, my daughter.
This time it's different. We are now being bombed by Kamala Harris, the first female vice president of the USA. We should be proud. This is part of history tonight.
Yeah, this is like, this artist was on your side, and you didn't even mention like add their names on the screen or anything.
Tonight on CNN. Is this the most diverse cabinet ever to bomb the Middle East? Tonight on CNN. What's the biggest threat to brown people? Airborne death raining down on brown people, or QAnon kooks on obscure internet forums discussing white supremacy? Gotta be.
This is how conservatives have gone full circle, and now they're playing identity politics. You know what I mean? They keep like, apparently because, they're like, you can't do anything to brown people if you're a leftist, because then you're a hypocrite, even if they're militia. Even like this whole idea of like, if you look at like CPAC and everywhere, like every time they have a black person or a gay person, they just like, the conservatives are like, oh my God, look, we have blacks. Oh, look, we have LGBT. Oh my God, look, we have trans. Like, you guys, like, oh, they're wrong about us. We're not racist. We're not homophobic. We're not transphobic. Like, you guys are playing identity politics now. Like, and you keep mocking the left for playing identity politics. And now this, they're like, every time. So, what are they gonna do? Like, if United States starts like bombing ISIS centers, are they gonna be like, oh no, you're bombing brown people? Like, oh, you think you care about brown people? These are Iranian militia. God damn it! Like. You're gonna focus on the fact that they're not white over the fact that they are Iranian militia being in a country that they have no business in being in?
Well, he's trying to point out the hypocrisy. I don't think he's doing a good job.
Yeah, he's not. Well, he's not, because that's what because I mean, okay, as much as the far left is like, the wokey left is kind of very cringe. The Biden administration, what did they ever pretend that they're not going to bomb people because of their skin color? Like, this is.
If you think that, you're delusional.
Yeah.
I'll be QAnon, right?
Oh, by the way, we're getting a lot of love in the live chat. Look at this.
Oh well, I mean, Carson 34 is a pro-Assadist communist, so.
Oh my God. Amazing.
All
right, let's continue.
Brown kids may still be in cages, but maybe if the cages were painted in rainbow colors, that would make it a positive thing. I guess you don't have to worry about putting kids in cages if you atomize them first. Oreos. Trans lives matter, and not just when you're exploiting them for millions of dollars in free woke advertising. How can we appeal to the kids? Global corporate hegemony says trans rights. Now that they're back in the military.
I mean,
wait, pause. That's very interesting, because that's the same criticism that a lot of anti-capitalist gay people have, or LGBT people have.
And a lot of
they
the
call
left,
it rainbow corporatism.
Yeah, they talk. Yeah, exactly. So. Hey, congrats, Paul Joseph Watson.
Horseshoe theory.
You have joined the leftists. They say the exact same thing, right?
Based, Paul.
Join the resistance, Paul.
Now that they're back in the military, will trans lives matter when they march into Syria? Will Syrians' lives matter? Will Oreos be tweeting about it? Middle Easterners begin painting transgender flag colors on doorposts to avoid Biden drone strikes.
Okay, this is
funny. This is not, I mean, it's funny, but this is not real analysis of what happened.
This is the problem. They're too funny. They're too funny, and then people think that therefore it makes sense. Nothing like this is ever, like, I know this is supposed to be satire and an exaggeration, but it's not making any points that is like even reflecting a criticism of what actually is happening, even though like it's satire and all, right? But it's just so funny that people just believe it. It's so good at comedy. This is so good at comedy. And if you laugh, then you probably, a lot of people are going to be convinced like, oh, it's funny because it's true. No, it's not true. It's just funny. It's not true at all.
Nothing about this makes any sense.
Nothing about this, but it's so goddamn funny. Like, this is such a good meme, like good propaganda. This is really good propaganda. That's what I'm saying.
Like, maybe Oreos can sponsor the M1 Abrams tanks as they blitzkrieg into Damascus. Maybe Mr. Potato Head can represent gender non-binary people by getting a decal on a B-2 stealth bomber. I'm sure this is...
These are so good and so bad at the same time. Again, it wasn't. It was Iranian militia. Like,
It's not. I can't stand it. Just
you know, there are a lot of Syrian people that are hate Iranian militia for the fact that they. You know what? Assad would have been gone by now if it wasn't because of the Iranian militia that came and saved him. And I can tell you, a lot of Syrian people are happy, like they want they want revenge from these Iranian militia who basically stopped them from almost being able to get rid of Assad. So maybe don't speak on behalf of Syrian people. I'm not, again, I didn't say majority, I didn't say most, because guess what? I don't have the statistics and nobody else does. That's why I'm saying a lot. I know it was a lot because they showed up in the streets in millions and they tried to get rid of Assad. So I know there's a lot of them. I just don't know if it's a majority, okay? And nobody else does as well, okay? But this is such a, no, the Syrian people, a lot of them probably love seeing Iranian militias being bombed because they hate them with passion.
Gone, and it's all fine. Because Raytheon tweeted the black...
Look, this didn't happen. What is this? This didn't happen. And last time I checked, Iranian militia didn't look like this. God damn, this is propaganda. Look at this.
Tweeted the black square for George Floyd. Raytheon Intelligence and Space celebrates diversity and a culture of inclusion. They don't discriminate, and that's why they're totally happy to indiscriminately butcher Yemeni civilians with laser-guided bombs. It's progressive. Biden's pick for defense secretary is being given a $1.7 million handout as he leaves Raytheon. But look, he's black. It's progressive. Northrop Grumman donated $1 million to Black Lives Matter causes, which surely compensates for all those AARGM supersonic warheads about to be tenderly sprinkled on black and brown heads.
Who's saying that though? Like, who is saying this? I have heard like nobody that buys this. Left, right, center. Everybody agrees with it. Like, who are you responding to? Like, do you think like even the far lefty, normal lefty, mainstream lefty,
they hate this.
They hate this.
They
like
hate this.
They like. Do you think like the wokey left is looking at? I mean, we criticize the woke left all the time, but we know that they're not looking at this, and they're like, "Oh yay! It's okay now. You can go do your bombing because you donated to Black Lives Matter." Like. No, nobody. You're responding to no one.
Dollars to Black Lives Matter causes, which surely compensates for all those AARGM supersonic warheads about
That's not their attitude
black and
at
brown.
all.
Progressive. Boeing provides the...
Show me the progressives that are saying, okay, we're okay with this Raycon and all these other military.
You know what? You got me. I was skeptical at first, but you got me.
Private technology to ensure those bombs find their targets, except when that fails and a wedding party gets wiped out. But hey, they vehemently denounced the January...
Oh my God, here's the thing. These companies also know that most people are not buying this, okay? However, the cost for them not to even post this, like they are smart people, unfortunately. They know that, yeah, we're going to put these out there and most people are going to call us out and call us hypocrites and blah, blah, blah. But if we didn't post this, they would even do it even more. Like people would be like, you didn't even post this. You didn't even say that. You have nothing to say about this. So they're like, we might as well put it out and donate some even if they donate a lot of money to, I don't know, Black Lives Matter or like some other progressive stuff, the backlash to them and they call out for their hypocrisy, they have done the cost benefit analysis. It's less than them not doing it at all. And it's not like the money that they put out there, it's like pocket change for them anyways, right? So they might as well do it. And nobody, yeah.
January 6th violence and performative virtue signaling is really what matters.
People are starving. They can't pay their rent. You got millions of Americans that are uninsured. They got no health care. They lost their jobs. Where the fuck are the checks? Oh, I know. They went to Raytheon so they could bomb my country.
Oh my God.
What?
Gosh. No, these are two separate issues. God damn it. Again, again,
Are we just supposed to do nothing? Like, we can either only be doing things internationally or we can only be doing things domestically.
guys,
What?
I mean, here's the thing. The first part of what he said is a fair criticism. Biden promised faster checks, and he's not delivering. Okay, he promised something and he's not delivering. It
Who
has
says
nothing
that
to.
that specific money allotted is going to Raytheon?
These
What?
are separate budgets. They're not connected.
That's not how this works.
Just say, but it's fair to criticize Biden. That's a fail. That's a promise that Biden didn't keep. That's a promise because he said he will do these immediately, and immediately doesn't mean like 1 month later. Like, this is a failed thing that Biden promised, and he's not keeping his promise. But this is not the way you do it. These are separate things. You could walk and chew gum at the same time.
Thank God the cabinet is diverse. I'm so happy that a rainbow cabinet just bombed my country. Thank you so much.
Look, even if there are questions to be asked about,
You know what? They didn't bomb Syrians. Okay, you want to play identity politics? I can do that for you. Okay,
Let's hear it.
because he's Syrian. He's like, thank you for bombing my country. Well, mister, they didn't bomb Syrians. They bombed Iranian militia, and I'm Iranian. Okay, and I will say and I'm going to say thank you. As an Iranian, I'm going to say thank you, Biden administration, for taking out Iranian militia. If you think like your identity matters, well, I'll do an Uno reverse card. Okay, I don't think it matters. But if you think you being Syrian adds any point to this argument, if you think like the country of your birth means that I should take you more seriously over well, they didn't bomb Syrians. They bombed Iranian militia, and as an Iranian, I will approve. Okay,
As an ambassador,
as a spokesperson, as all Iranian people, yes, I represent all of them, every single one of them.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Okay, and no, not for once. I'm not saying you're welcome. For once, I'm saying thank you. Thank you. They had no business being there. The Iranian people don't want them there. And the Syrian people don't want them there. Yeah, take them. And they attacked they attacked your contract, American citizens. It was in the best interest of everybody for them to die. Okay, so thank you for bombing them. Thank you, Biden administration. Again, I'm going to call you out on all the other stuff you did, but this was a good takeout.
That a rainbow cabinet just bombed my country. Thank you so much.
Look,
Thank you. He's joking, but I'm not. Thank you.
There are questions to be asked about further US involvement in the Middle East. You think our wonderfully robust mainstream media wouldn't be all over it? I mean, it's not like major publications aren't even mentioning the story on their front page.
Hey,
Wait,
I
what?
saw this. What are you talking about? I saw this on CNN.
This is Biden's first airstrike as a president. Everyone's talking about it.
I saw that. I saw this everywhere.
Is it build back better? More like bomb back better with inclusivity and compassion. So Joe Biden bombs Syria and kills the minimum wage hike, confirming every fear progressives had. Soon they'll renege on getting $2,000 checks to everyone in the middle class by limiting who gets it to appease their donors. The establishment is back, and it absolutely sucks. Wait, what? The establishment? No. I was told this was the resistance. You're saying they lied to us? Impossible. Bombs are falling on Syria again. The kids are still in the cages. The $2,000 checks are AWOL. But hey, at least Orange Man bad gone. At least Mr. Potato Head no longer a Mr. As president, I will use military.
I'm pretty sure Biden had no influence over Mr. Potato Head. I don't.
No, but
You know,
he's
like
just
talking about.
commenting on, progressive culture extravagances, basically.
Well, I mean, like you could do this with like what I don't know. You could do this with so many conservative things. Or you could be like, well, Trump is like didn't do this and doing that, but at least I don't know, what do conservatives care about? Like, at least now they're teaching, I don't know, these schools not teaching people about LGBT or like they're when it comes to the random things that aren't important, that don't seem important, and left-leaning people and right-leaning people seem to be really butthurt over. We have plenty of examples on all sides. So yeah, you're one to speak.
military power responsibly and as a last resort. We will not go back to...
I mean, these are people who, if you see anything gay in cartoons, they're like, brainwashing, they're coming after you, hide your children. You know what I mean? Like, you have princes
essentially his commentary about the Mr. Potato Head, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
That's
also
what he's
that.
trying to emphasize about that.
Yeah, also, yeah, they say like, oh, these left-leaning people, they're so butthurt over Mr. Potato Head having Mr. over it. Well, you guys are also butthurt over removing Miss. Like, I mean, you're the same. You guys are also overreacting over Mr. Potato Head being now just Potato Head. Like, you're also losing your mind over it. Like, you're saying it's not an important issue, and they're like, they think this is important. Well, you guys are talking about it more.
Forever wars in the Middle East.
Sure, Jan.
Oh, this song could be copyrighted. But let's see the left-leaning take.
Oh, it's our favorite.
It's our favorite. No, we're
With
kidding.
only the most accurate takes on Iran allowed.
Oh my god.
Secular
don't
talk.
even.
Also known as secular talk.
An update for you on Biden's Syria bombing. At least 22 people were killed after President Biden orders first military strike. The attack was carried out on Iranian-backed militias. Now, they claim, they meaning the U.S. government and the Biden administration, they say, listen, we're just getting them back for what they did to us.
Which is true.
Because they were attacking us in Iraq, and so we had to do this.
Which is true.
I have an idea. The best way to not get attacked in Iraq.
Oh, no.
Here it comes.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
I'm ready.
Just
Give me the
you know.
taste.
There you go. The best way.
I have an idea.
Oh.
The best way to not get attacked in Iraq is to not be in Iraq.
Oh.
Mind blown.
Why didn't someone tell us sooner?
Okay, Kyle. Sure. But what does this got to do with what happened now? Okay? What does this got to do with what happened now? Yeah, maybe they shouldn't have been in Iraq. But they're there now. They're attacking Americans. Should they not respond because they shouldn't have been there in the first place? Should they not respond? Like, you have a problem. You made a mess. And this is a mess that you're dealing with right now. What is the best action right now when they attack Americans? You cannot not respond to it. How basic is this? God damn it.
If you want to protect our troops and our people in Iraq, get out of there.
I don't know if that's going to long-term. Okay, so here's the thing. If you want to protect our people, you have to understand it's not as simple as that, okay? Maybe you're right. Again, I'm not going to pretend like I know what's going to happen if Americans completely leave Iraq, okay? And if you pretend like you could, like, all the dominoes falling about what's going to happen after, if you pretend like you know what's going to happen, then you're full of crap, okay? It's likely that maybe that's true. Maybe pulling out of Iraq is going to be the best thing for everybody, okay? But you have to also exercise the outcome. You have to be honest to your audience that it's possible for... If right now, like, yeah, maybe invading, let's say invading Iraq is true. Bad idea. But now that you remove Saddam, now that Iran has like a full-on dominance over militias in Iraq, now if you pull out of Iraq, can you also tell your audience that it's possible for the response to that be the conclusion from out of that be for Iraq to be entirely dominated by the Islamic Republic of Iran. And from there, Iran will be able to completely dominate Lebanon and Syria and the entire region, basically, and have complete control over, like, basically Saudi Arabia would have to bend the knee at that point. and Israel will be completely left defenseless. Like, let's be honest, United States is not going to leave Israel defenseless. So if you give that much domination to the Islamic Republic of Iran, at some point, the threat to Israel is going to be so high that you're going to have to go back. Okay? And at that point, Iran might be so much dominant in the region that it's going to be even more costly to American citizens to address that. Okay? I'm not saying this is going to happen, but that is a likely scenario that will come out of leaving Iraq. How likely? I have no idea, but it is likely. Okay? And if Iran completely controls at that point the Hormuz Canal, right? But translation of Tank-A Hormuz, is it Hormuz Canal? Yeah. Do you know, like, the entire demand and supply of the world's energy markets is going to be out of balance? Like, what is it? 20% of the world's entire oil comes from passes through the Hormuz Canal. 20% and you leave that region and you want to give entire dominance to Iran over that? And you think that's not going to have an impact on American citizens? Again, I'm not saying United States should stay in Iraq, but I'm just saying, say that these are the potential costs of leaving Iraq outright. Mention this to your audience. Even if you want to stay on the side of no, yes, these are all true, but we still need to leave. Okay, at least you do the cost-benefit analysis and you're like, these are the costs, but the benefits outweighs the cost, so we need to leave. But say the cost. Mention the goddamn cost.
None of our people can die if we're not there. So, I mean, I just find...
Wow.
Is that how Oh, I knew that Kyle was going to have some choice takes for us, but I wasn't expecting, like, this level.
Yeah.
Like, have you... Oh, okay.
Find it
Hey, we're getting some love from some people, at least. We're getting a lot of hate in the live chat, but Maggie's. Thank you, Maggie.
Obnoxious. This argument of like, it's ridiculous that we're getting attacked in the country that we've been illegally occupying for nearly 2 decades. Maybe
nobody's saying that. People are like, what is ridiculous? Like, you just like, who's saying that? This is such a straw man. People are the only argument is like, Americans were attacked by Iranian militias. We're going to respond. That's the argument being made here.
It really drives me crazy. Like, I feel like you watch a lot more of his content than I do, but in times like this, it just really feels like Kyle refuses to acknowledge the fact that Iran is the world's largest state sponsor of terror.
They don't even think that. They think that only Sunnis do terrorism.
I know that he really... But has he ever mentioned that?
No, no, because he doesn't believe it.
Oh my!
He doesn't believe it. The Iranians are more clever at terrorism. They usually don't get their citizens involved.
Well, except for that Asadullah.
Yeah, and guys, like, I was listening to one of these people who were saying like we shouldn't like be doing taking any aggression against Iran. And somebody in the live chat asked the content creator, like, what would it take for you to do for you to think like it's justified for the United States to like attack Iran outright? And he's like, well, if they did something like an Al Qaeda or ISIS type of attack on Americans, only then it would be justified. But Iranian government has never done anything like that. I was like,
did you hear about what they did in a little country called Belgium, my friend?
Wait, it was in France, I think. It was supposed to be done in France, but they gave the explosive in Belgium, but the attack was supposed to be carried out in a conference in Paris.
And it was an MEK conference.
Yes, but I mean, I hate the MEK, but they were civilians. They were civilians, and American politicians.
A lot of politicians from across the world.
American, that's the one that I was talking.
MEK and support them.
Yeah, I mean, Giuliani was there. That's what I was referring to. So
Yeah.
that if that attack had taken, by the way, thank you Mossad for stopping that attack, for passing out the intelligence, for all those civilians didn't get killed because Mossad stopped it, right? Mossad handed out the intelligence to stop it. So thank you Mossad for that. But
I want to
Well,
check. I thought it was in Belgium, or they
Okay.
were intercepted him in Belgium.
I think it was intercepted in Belgium, but it was like the attack was supposed to happen in Paris, right? But it was stopped. So basically, based on their own criteria, and here's the thing:
And
a
it
lot
wasn't
of
just Armin. It wasn't just an Iranian citizen. It was an Iranian diplomat.
diplomat. It was an Iranian diplomat, okay? And a lot of these people are saying like, we invaded the wrong country. We should have invaded Saudi Arabia because Saudi Arabian citizens were responsible for 9/11. Right? Okay. Well, what's the difference between this and the attack that Iran was almost carried out? Right? In this attack, you know how many civilians would have died if that attack took place? Just because it was stopped, that doesn't make Iran's government less guilty. Okay? Just because you managed to stop it. So if these people think that they need to be so hostile against Saudi Arabia because of 9/11, which is justified, I agree, then there you go. Yeah, you have another attack that was done by almost carried out by the Iranian government. And that's ignoring all the dual citizens that are taking hostage in their country, and all the contractors and American soldiers that they're taking out by their proxies. Because apparently the Americans had sent a memo to Iranians that if you kill Americans, if it's not your citizens killing Americans, but it's your militias, like just make sure the militias that you're hiring, they're not Iranian citizens. If they're Lebanese citizens, if they're Iraqi citizens, if they're Syrian citizens, then you get a pass by killing Americans. And Iran's like, okay. So I know how to do terrorism without giving you justification for you to attack Iran directly. All I have to do is make sure that Iranian citizens are not involved. Which they failed to do that in that attack that we just mentioned. That was
right. The attack was in France. They were intercepted in Belgium.
Belgium.
His name is Asadullah Assadi. I got his name wrong. But they tried to use diplomatic immunity to shield him from prosecution for years.
Yeah. Anyways, a lot of people don't know about that attack. It's amazing.
But what you were getting at was, according to that guy's standard, we should be essentially in a land war with Iran.
Right. Look at this idiot. Somebody in live chat thinks like, oh, it wasn't. Oh my God, this guy's a commie. Never mind. Hold on. All right, let's continue.
Problem that you're illegally occupying a country for almost 2 decades. Maybe that's a problem in and of itself. Maybe you're violating U.S. law and international law on that front, and you need to pull out. And if you do pull out, you won't get attacked, and then you wouldn't do a retaliatory strike. So, I mean, that's the...
Here's the thing. Let's say, for example, you left the door open, okay? And somebody comes and attacks you and starts like doing, attacking your children, and now is like doing the R word, which I can't say on YouTube, to your wife, right? Mm-hmm. And you now take your gun and you're like about to shoot the guy. And you're like, instead of shooting the guy, you know how you could have avoided this? You should have just kept your doors locked, right? Why are you being hostile right now? While this person is like molesting your wife and kill your children. He just killed your children and is now like having sex with your wife without her consent. I'm not saying the R word because YouTube doesn't like that. And you're being too hostile right now. Okay? This is your fault. If you didn't want this, maybe next time just make sure your doors are, locked. So don't be hostile right now. Let it happen because this is your fault. This is what's happened. This is the argument here. A mistake was made, but you have to deal with the situation that you are dealt with right now. Americans are being attacked. You need to defend Americans. That's what the president is supposed to do.
Secular writer saying, should have just not had a wife.
God damn it. Oh my God. Armin is a fascist. Hey, guys, look. I was far lefty just a moment ago, and now I'm a fascist.
Solution, let's not kid ourselves.
Amazing.
You can't say we were attacked and, oh my God, now we have to respond.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Like, what are they supposed to do? Because they made an original mistake. Now, when they're attacked, they can't defend themselves. Because they made a mistake before. Now, when Americans that are attacked, you shouldn't respond. Amazing logic.
So beyond that, I already discussed this theory with you guys, but I'll float it again. Aaron Mate made this point that you had the release of the Saudi Arabia report that showed that MBS was responsible for the killing of Khashoggi. That pissed off Saudi Arabia. This move from the Biden administration might be a mea culpa, might be a sort of apology to say,
What?
hey, my bad on releasing that report. I'm still your boy. Here, I'll do what you want me to do, which is bomb Shia militias.
What? Wait. What?
Oh my God. This is
A mea culpa to MBS over the most damning report that has been released about the Crown Prince. The State Department now has a new designation for stuff like this. And Biden has been going hard against the Saudi monarchy as anyone has for the past several years, fresh out the gate. And he's like, I'm sorry.
You know what? Let me be charitable, okay? Let me be charitable.
Okay.
Is there a chance that this is true? Very unlikely, but nothing is impossible, right? But you better have evidence if you want to throw something like that, like this out there to your almost 1 million subscribers, you better have some goddamn evidence if you're just throwing that out there. Because you just basically want to criticize Biden, and you have to make it more ridiculous than what it even is to be able to attack it. Because this is insane. Again, I'm gonna
preface it by saying I'm just gonna float this idea past you.
I'm just gonna float this idea. Like, if you know what, I'm gonna say, like, nothing is impossible, right? I've seen so many things in international politics that was nobody could have predicted. Okay, but if you're throwing this out there and you have nothing to back it up, then you have no business being a commentator like this. Let me see. Maybe he provides some evidence.
So I think that's a plausible theory. That might actually be what's going on in their mind.
Oh my God.
Holy cow!
Back because we released this report and made them look
Wait,
back.
Has he not been following like what's been going on in the past month regarding our actions with Saudi? How Biden won't even talk to the Crown Prince; he'll only talk to the King.
God damn it!
He's not following any of that.
No, these people think like you can just like cut up complete ties with one of your major allies in the region, and anything short of that. Like Biden has been extremely aggressive against MBS, but these people don't understand that how aggressive he has been so far, because they think like it's just like it's possible for United States to just be like, "Hey, major ally, go screw yourselves completely, bye bye," and people like we have been very pleased with how aggressive Biden has been against Saudi Arabia's government right now, MBS especially. We are not pleased with how Biden has been being very weak on China, but with Saudi Arabia, he has been more aggressive than we anticipate.
And if you want some of that more tasty Biden criticism, go see our stream from yesterday.
Yeah.
Titled "Is Biden Soft on China and the Uyghur Genocide?"
Okay, let's continue. I want to see if he has evidence.
Can't have that. So let's show them we're still boys with them. Saudi Arabia is still ride or die.
Oh my God.
And okay, we're going to kill a number of people in Shia militias on the ground in Syria. Completely and utterly illegal under U.S. law and international.
So this thing that I just said that I have no evidence for is completely illegal.
Law.
Wait.
It's illegal under U.S. law because Congress needs to declare war.
This is not okay. God damn it! Again, I'm going to repeat myself. Imagine if every time Americans were attacked, the response to that had to go through Congress approval. Okay, this is not like waging war on a country. Americans were attacked, the president needs to respond. If responding to Americans being attacked had to go through Congress every time, then every American outside of the U.S. borders right now would be sitting ducks.
Congress did not declare war in Syria. They did not. So it's illegal. It's illegal under international law
It's
because
not illegal.
this actually isn't defensive in nature by any stretch of the imagination.
Americans were attacked. There's a response. It's defensive in nature.
And you're violating the sovereignty of Syria.
It's an Iranian militia. Well, Iranian backed. Wait.
Okay. Syria is in that state of war right now. There's so many different players right now in Syria.
It's
There's
essentially a vacuum.
It's a vacuum.
So these are the things I need you to stop and think. If any other country,
Oh, wait a second. Wait a second.
Is he one of those leftists that denies the
No.
chemical attacks?
No, yeah. But let me make this point before I forget it, okay? Listen to this part again. Hold on.
I need you to stop and think. If any other country acted around the world like we do,
If any other country acted around the world like we do, Susanna,
Mm-hmm.
if any other country acted around the world like we do, okay? So he's talking about United States being in Syria and having no business being there, okay?
Oh.
What is it? What was this other country that we just talked about that was in Syria outside of its borders?
I think I might start with an I and end with an N. Could it be Iran?
I think you might be right.
Maybe a major stake in a Shia imperialist project?
Oh my god.
It could be.
And Kyle, Iran. Are you going to criticize? Have you ever criticized Iran for being involved like this outside of its borders?
Have you ever looked on a map where Hezbollah is active? The answers may surprise you.
This is like, he is like pro-Islamic Republic. He pretends like he's not. He always like, yeah, they're bad. But can you blame them? Like, dude, they're building a freaking empire in the region outside of their borders against the wishes of the citizens.
Don't they
Like,
even have militias or backing of groups in Nigeria?
They keep saying like, and he keeps saying like it's a sovereign nation. It's like Assad, blah blah blah. Dude, the Syrian citizens, they don't want Assad. Okay,
They want sovereignty. They want their sovereignty.
they were begging Americans to come save them from Assad. They want independence from Assad, and oh my god, and right now the current government in Iraq is divided. Like, United States is in Iraq with the permission of the current government. Okay, so that's the Americans in us. I'm not saying it's justified, but that's the current government of Iraq. In Syria, the current government doesn't really represent the goddamn people. Okay, so if you want to talk about Syria, are you talking about the current Syrian government, which is like a joke? Like, it's semi close to a failed state right now. I mean, Assad is still going to survive, it seems. But are you talking about the Syrian people? Because it's not that simple. It's not that simple, right? But again, if you have these standards for United States being active outside of its borders, maybe also look at what Iran is doing. Because what Iran is doing outside of its borders is against the wishes of the Syrian people, of the Iraqi people, and guess what? Of the Iranian people. When it comes to empire building and meddling where you have no business meddling in, the Iranian government is way more guilty of that right now than the American government. And there needs to be a pushback against that. Yeah. Yes, the way United States has been pushing back against that has not been good. It needs to be more of an international pushback. United States needs to do this with other international actors, going through the United Nations and plus other stuff like that. But what Iran does with its dominance is major human rights violations. There needs to be a response to that, and United States needs to be leading that as the world's major superpower. It shouldn't do it by its own. It should do that with cooperation with other countries. But there needs to be a response to that. If you let Iran take over, have you seen what Shia militias do to Sunni civilians,
Oh
Sunni
my God.
civilians when they take over a village. You can't just let them come and take over. There needs to be a pushback against that. Anyways, let's continue.
You would immediately call for
No,
regime change in that country.
Oh yeah.
No, that point did need to be made
Yeah.
about like we haven't even really touched on that, like what they do when they're there.
Yes. By the way, a lot of people think like when we're saying the United States needs to push back, that we're endorsing the way they have been pushing back so far. Like people keep bringing back to us the takes like, oh my God, but United States did this and United States did that. Yeah, a lot of times we have mentioned them on this show, and we have said that United States has been responsible for a lot of human rights abuses, especially when it comes to their support for Saudi Arabia and the bombing of Yemeni civilians. We have been calling that out, but we're not saying like, oh, if we are against the people who are for no intervention, that doesn't mean we are endorsing the interventions that the United States has been doing so far. A lot of it has been horrible. A lot of United States intervention has been responsible for the greatest human rights abuses of our time at a massive scale. So a lot of bad intervention so far. A lot of people are in response to that are asking for no intervention. We're on the side of good intervention, smart intervention.
For
But
example,
anyways.
the assassination of Soleimani.
Yes, that was fantastic. Again, one of the few things that the Trump administration did right. Anyways, but, oh, and also taking out a Fakhrizadeh by Mossad.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
They have a rogue government that doesn't abide by international law. But when we do it, it's called a random Tuesday. You know?
What?
Unacceptable.
It's yeah. When we do it, it's Random Tuesday, and nobody else does it except every other country that can do it does it. Every other country that can intervene outside of its borders does outside of its borders because they know it's in the best interest of securing their trade routes and securing their interests internationally. Every country that can intervene outside of its borders intervenes outside of its borders.
And 22 people killed. Could easily be civilians, women and children. We don't know. We don't know. But to be this willy-nilly with airstrikes is unacceptable. And this is the same kind of stuff.
Willy-nilly.
Willy-nilly. Americans were attacked, Kyle. Americans were attacked. What do you think the response should have been?
Like Trump
Wait.
increased.
So he's assuming that it is women and children when we have no evidence of that,
Yeah.
to my knowledge.
Yeah, maybe some evidence will come out and we're going to be wrong about this, but so far, I don't think there has
I
been
know, that's
any
the
evidence.
thing. Shouldn't we wait
It
for
was
that?
been malicious. It was malicious, Kyle.
Drone strikes over 400%. Civilian deaths were also increased. He kept us in Iraq. He kept us in
Wait,
Afghanistan.
who are we talking about? We're talking about Trump now?
Drone strikes over 400%.
Oh, wait. I
Is
think we're talking about Obama now.
Acceptable. And this is the same kind of stuff. Like Trump
No, Trump.
increased drone strikes over 400%.
We went to Trump now.
Civilian deaths were also increased. He kept us in Iraq. He kept us in Afghanistan. He escalated with Iran. What you have with Biden here is a continuation of the Trump policies.
Oh, my God.
And I'm sorry, but I have no respect and no patience for anybody who's willing to overlook this stuff simply because it's Biden doing it. It's like the whole kids in cages thing. You go read the way this was.
Look at this. This is like word for word what Paul Joseph Watson was
It
saying.
actually is, though.
It's like horseshoe theory
They've touched on
confirmed.
the same points. Holy shit.
This is horseshoe theory confirmed.
was talked about when Trump was president, and it was very clear. Kids in cages, unacceptable. You read about it under the Biden administration, and the same media outlets are saying stuff along the lines of a temporary child detention facility, and they have pictures that show like balloons.
You know what? I haven't looked into this, but I'm almost sure that if I look into this when it comes to Biden, it's a lot more nuanced than what he's presenting here.
I have a little bit more knowledge on this. It
But
is more
listen,
nuanced, but
It's way more nuanced, yeah. But
I mean,
let's not get that.
everything's not kosher, but it is more nuanced. But I mean, I do think it is fair to criticize the media for treating these two administrations differently. Although
Yes, that is
these
fair.
actions are not completely comparable, like I would agree with both of the content makers we've reviewed.
Yeah,
Because I do see a lot of that nonsense from mainstream media.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but again, mainstream media is such an umbrella term. There's a lot of good reporters and like mainstream media, like, oh, mainstream media is so bad. Like, which...
a lot of that kind of nonsense comes from the editors, anyways.
No, but I'm just saying mainstream media is like,
Mm-hmm.
it's such an umbrella term. There's so many good and so many bad people, reporters, presenters in mainstream media. Like anybody who wants to criticize all mainstream media as bad or good is just like, yeah, sure. Okay.
And paintings on the wall, and they try to spin it as if it's more positive now, as if it's, what are we gonna do? We have to do this. We have no choice. So the way that they play with language, the way that they flip the standard is totally unacceptable. And this is one where everybody needs to line up against them. And, I need to see more resistance from the Democratic base and elected representatives on stuff like this. They're already pushing back on the minimum wage stuff. Good. But you got it. Like Rokan is out there talking about this, but very few people are really talking about this. It's almost like the bipartisan consensus is rampant imperialism.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. It's not.
Americans are attacked. Your president responds, rabid imperialism. Sure.
And that's
pushing.
Apparently,
Pushing back on Iran's imperialism is imperialism.
Yes. Anything short of bending over and letting Iran enter you from the back is imperialism.
And homophobic.
Hey, homophobic? How do you know Iran could be male and United States could be female? Not all form of anal sex is gay. You're being homophobic.
No, I mean, I think of, the United States as Uncle Sam, personified by Uncle Sam.
Okay, well, maybe Iran is a girl and she's wearing a strap-on.
How progressive.
Yeah, see? It's not homophobic. It's very progressive. Don't shame countries.
Definitely haram.
As long as it's consensual, countries can have sex with it. Anyways, let's continue.
That's not okay. That's not okay. And, come to find out, oftentimes this has a lot to do with the fact that it's Republicans and Democrats who take money from the military-industrial complex. Raytheon, Boeing, Honeywell, I mean, you name it. And, Biden's, what's his name? I'm forgetting his name. Is it Lloyd Austin or something like that? Biden's Secretary of Defense, who just took over $1 million from Raytheon. He was sitting on the board of Raytheon, and now he's the Secretary of Defense. Well, what the fuck do you think is going to happen? They're going to want to do strikes like this. They're going to want to be incredibly interventionist and imperialist in their foreign policy and neocon war hawks. That's what we're seeing here. So
I really wish I could ask him, like, what do you think? Like, okay, yeah, sure. You should have never went to Iraq, blah, 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 blah. Hindsight, 2020, all that. Now you're there. American is attacked. What do you think should, like, if you were president, what would you do? Like, I want to, like,
first price, bro. I fixed it.
Like, what?
He told us in the beginning.
No, okay,
His idea is just not be there.
Okay, no, but I'm gonna tell him, like, okay, fine. You shouldn't have been there to begin with, okay? But you're president, you haven't had a chance to pull the troops out yet, and they attacked Americans. What are you gonna do? Like, you're just gonna be like, but like you're gonna do nothing? Like, I really wish I could ask him, like, what would you do? While you're there. Oh my God.
Acceptable, and I think everybody would agree it's unacceptable if it was Trump doing it.
Oh my God.
Now Biden's doing it, and a lot of people are going back to sleep. I have seen on Twitter, it was infuriating seeing how some people talked about this, like,
Twitter. Remember Twitter, Susie?
Oh, don't remind me.
This is what an adult airstrike looks like.
Okay.
I trust Biden's judgment, so I know that he's actually picking the right targets, and I can.
Who does?
Everyone is talking about the same tweet by this, like, Amy person.
One tweet, yes.
It was a really dumb tweet.
Yeah, is she like someone famous?
Talking about.
Yeah.
Let me try to look it up.
This is the same tweet that Paul Joseph Watson just brought
It
up. Like
is.
they're referring to the same goddamn one tweet.
Amy Siskind. Amy Siskind is an American activist and writer. She's the author of A List, a week of by week reckoning of Trump's first year and organizer of We the People's March.
How many
so
followers?
she's like a resistance liberal.
Okay, how many followers she has?
500,000.
Whoa. Okay. All right. Fair enough then.
Relax, and I have my weekends back now. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I mean, yeah, that was stupid.
It
as
can
hell.
literally.
What?
I mean, him going like, "Oh my god!" Like, yeah, that was really, yeah.
Yeah, that was a dumb take.
Be the exact same policy as Trump, but when Biden does it, people will be like, "Eh."
I mean, that's a fair point, but it doesn't apply here.
He's reasonable, so I guess it makes sense.
I mean, you know what? I think like I am more more happy with Biden's picks than Biden himself. I like now, like based on what's going so far, again, things can change. Okay, things can change, and we could be like, "Oh my god, it's horrible! Like, what did they do?" But right now, I just went like, "Okay, Biden, thank you for the picks. It seems like you have picked some good people. Not all of them, but a lot of them seem to be really good. Just now, go home and shut up. Let your cabinet take care of it." Like, I just feel like because every time he opens his mouth, he's saying things that are like is gonna make his cabinet a lot harder to respond to it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just think he's like he was not like this before. I think he's just getting old because he was like, if you look at how he talked and how he debated before, man was really sharp, right? He was like a master debater, and he was like, whether you agree with him or not, he was really good at bringing up points and counterpoints, even if you disagree with them. Like he keeps wandering off after like every time you ask him a question, he starts responding to it for 10 seconds and then he wanders off to something else.
The acuity isn't there.
Yeah, but it's not his fault. Like, man is old. Anyways.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. These people were not some sort of direct imminent threat. If you're afraid of attacks against our...
They weren't an imminent threat. They already attacked. They already like, oh yeah, they're not imminent threat anymore after they already attacked American citizens. Like, they already attacked. By the way, he's so wrong because they have been continuing to attack Americans after this.
As of last night, 2 days before 2 days before the Pope is supposed to arrive in the area.
There's been 4 attacks.
Why is the Pope going there? But that's a different conversation.
Yeah, we should actually cover that. But there's 4 attacks. Like, I think 3 of them were after this. So the Iranian militias are not stopping. They're like, oh, there's no... What did he say?
No imminent threat.
If there's
such an imminent threat.
This is like that cartoon where that dog is like in the house on fire. I say, this is fine. No imminent threat. They're attacking you right now as we speak. Oh my god.
This is fine.
This is fine.
Some sort of direct imminent threat. If you're afraid of attacks against our people in Iraq, get the fuck out of Iraq. Why are we still there? Why are we still there? Couldn't be there.
Oh my god. They want Biden to do everything like he's been 1 month. It's been a month. Again, if he okay, so whether you agree with Biden leaving Iraq or not leaving Iraq, he promised that he's going to leave Iraq. Okay, so if he doesn't reduce American presence in Iraq, that could be at some point used as a way to mention justifiably another failure by Biden to keep his promises, right? But it's been a month. It's been a goddamn month.
Since 2003, been in Afghanistan since 2001. We've allied with...
Again, Afghanistan, if you leave, there's good points for leaving Afghanistan, but come on, there's also good points for staying in Afghanistan. It will be a freaking massacre. Like, the Taliban is going to take over. The Taliban is going to take over Afghanistan, right? I'm not saying that means that the United States should stay in Afghanistan, but just know that that's going to be what's going to happen. Like, just give the counterpoints to your audience.
Warlords who have child sex slaves.
Yes, those warlords that have child sex slaves, Kyle, they're going to be ruling over Afghanistan if United States leaves. You're going to be gifting Afghanistan to them.
And we have the nerve to turn around and say we're doing this stuff for morality or because we're the world police? No, not true. Total bullshit. This stuff has to stop, and it has to stop now.
Anyways, that was... Wow, we went around 2 hours. Hey,
It warranted it. I knew that we were going to go this long.
Yeah. Anything in the comment section that is not shouting at me?
It's mostly shouting at us.
At me, as calling me a fascist? Okay.
It's just another Tuesday.
Oh, look at this. What is this?
Wait, where did the German wealth come from?
Though? Maybe because my name is Armin?
Nah, that can't be.
Or right. Because I'm Aryan or something? Armin is
no.
Is this guy like a troll? Maybe he's just trolling.
It's a mess.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Just make it. Oh my.
Look at this is a joke.
Proof Armin is Trump supporter. Armin loves Mossad. Mossad works for Netanyahu. Netanyahu likes Trump. Hence, Armin is a Trump supporter. You got us.
Yes, you got us. That was a joke, by the way. All right. Okay, let me just read one more comment. I think wokeism is a contagious disease. I've caught myself thinking woke bullshit. That's amazing. Please also react to Tulsi Gabbard's video on the strike. I haven't seen it. Thank you for letting us know. I'll take a look.
Jeez.
How long is it? But I don't know if we're going to do another video because it's about the same event. Like we already spent 2 hours on this.
Well, given that there was a strike last night, this is probably going to be an ongoing situation.
Yeah.
And this strike is going to play into negotiations for the Iran nuclear deal. So, it'll probably be relevant later because we're going to continue to cover, the negotiations on that and how that evolves. So.
Ian is saying, late again. Yeah, you should watch this one, Ian. It was pretty good.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'm very proud of us. Susie, I'm proud of us. We did really good.
Oh.
Especially if people get triggered in live chat, that means we hit all the right points. All right. Okay, cool. All right, guys. We're gonna go. I'm gonna go eat, and me and Susie are gonna work.
We're gonna go watch a Khashoggi documentary.
Documentary while working. Yeah, that's what. If you're wondering what we do, me and Susie after these live stream, we both go get some food and we talk here on air while we're eating, and then we put something in the background to watch while we work at the same time. All right, guys. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.